Jean Alesi had made everyone take notice of his potential with a superb 4th place finish on his Formula 1 debut in France in 1989. But it wasn't until the 1990 season opener in Phoenix that the French Sicilian experienced his big breakthrough moment. Lining up 4th on the grid, the Tyrrell driver immediately took the race lead with a brilliant move into the first corner. McLaren's Ayrton Senna was closing in, and on lap 35, the Brazilian made his move. But Alesi wasn't having it, and immediately repassed the astonished Senna. On the following lap, Senna made his move stick, and went on to take the race win, with Alesi finishing second. But in standing up to a world champion, this was the moment Jean Alesi truly arrived in Formula 1. Australia was the setting for Lewis Hamilton's much-anticipated F1 debut with McLaren in 2007. After qualifying 4th, the 22-year-old made an electrifying start, passing his new McLaren teammate and reigning world champion Fernando Alonso around the outside of Turn 1. His debut drive was near perfect, and he even led the race for 4 laps, before Alonso overtook him via the second round of pit stops. Hamilton finished 3rd and went on to score 9 successive podiums, a record-breaking start to an incredible rookie season in F1.
I'm overwhelmed and ecstatic, and really to come across the line in 3rd. It's a great start for me, great start for the team. We've got some good points in the bag, and I'm looking forward to the next race.
Future world champion James Hunt was in his 3rd season in Formula 1 when he lined up at the 1975 Dutch Grand Prix for the Hesketh team. The British driver had shown flashes of brilliance, but was yet to win a Grand Prix, and still wasn't seen as a serious championship contender by the racing press, who'd nicknamed him Hunt the Shunt, thanks to his reckless racing style and numerous crashes. But in Zandvoort, Hunt qualified 3rd between the Ferraris of Clay Regazzoni and Niki Lauda. But a decision to switch him to slick tyres on a drying track allowed Hunt to pass Lauda for the lead on lap 15. For the next hour, Hunt skillfully defended from the Austrian and held on to take a brilliant maiden victory. The win improved Hunt's reputation, and thanks to his switch to McLaren for the 1976 season, he was now a championship contender and a man to be taken seriously. Mika Häkkinen was McLaren's test driver, but after Michael Andretti was let go, it gave him the opportunity to go toe-to-toe with Ayrton Senna for the final 3 races of the 1993 season, the first of which was the Portuguese Grand Prix. And Häkkinen was ready to make the most of his opportunity. His breakthrough moment came before the race on Saturday, when the Finn out-qualified 3-time world champion Senna by 0.048 to take 3rd place on the grid. And he soon had a 3-time world champion poring over his telemetry to see where he was doing better. Häkkinen crashed out of the race, but the way he had announced himself convinced McLaren boss Ron Dennis to make Häkkinen his number 1 driver for 1994. A decision that would ultimately reap rewards with 2 world championships of his own. John Surtees was already a 7-time motorcycle world champion when he made a surprise switch to racing on 4 wheels, driving a Lotus at 4 Grand Prix during the 1960 Formula 1 season. And his performance in the British Grand Prix at Silverstone that year amazed the racing world. In just his 2nd Formula 1 outing, Surtees finished 2nd behind that season's eventual world champion Jack Brabham. The breakthrough made him a driver in demand, and by 1964 he'd won the World Championship driving for Ferrari, becoming the first, and to date only, world champion on both 2 and 4 wheels.
Well, to be honest, I'm very happy with the chances they've given me, and from now on it's just, getting used to a new car.
After several impressive performances for Toro Rosso, 18-year-old prodigy Max Verstappen was promoted to Red Bull halfway through the 2016 season, swapping seats with the under-pressure Dani Kvyat for the Spanish Grand Prix. He qualified in an impressive P4, but was up to second by the end of lap 1, after the all-conquering Mercedes duo took themselves out on the opening lap.
And Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate. The two Mercedes come together.
Verstappen's teammate Daniel Ricciardo led the race, but Verstappen benefited from a two-stop pit strategy to take the lead. The Red Bull rookie resisted a late charge from Ferrari's Kimi Räikkönen to take a stunning breakthrough victory under unimaginable pressure.
At 18 years and 227 days old, Max Verstappen wins a Formula One Grand Prix.
Yes, yes! Unbelievable, Max. Unbelievable.
Now there was no doubt Verstappen was the real deal. Alain Prost had struggled in his first season in Formula One with McLaren, but the stars aligned at the French Grand Prix of 1981 for a standout breakthrough performance. The French racer was now with a French team in the form of Renault, and lined up at his home Grand Prix in Dijon in third place. Despite a damaged front wing and gearbox problems which left him without the use of fourth gear, Prost was battling for victory, and only Nelson Piquet stood in his way. And after torrential rain led to a race restart, Prost made the call to switch to grippier qualifying-style tyres for the remaining 22 laps, and duly raced away into the distance, managing their wear expertly to earn a famous victory in front of his home fans.
Out goes the checkered flag, and Alain Prost has won his first Grand Prix, the French Grand Prix. What a wonderful victory for this young Frenchman.
Despite success in sports cars and Formula 3, Michael Schumacher was still a relative unknown when he was drafted in to replace Jordan's Bertrand Gachot for the 1991 Belgian Grand Prix. The German had never driven at Spa-Francorchamps before, and had to ride the track on his bicycle to work out the racing lines before Friday practice. But by the time qualifying came around, Schumacher had mastered the Spa circuit, qualifying in a quite remarkable 7th place, 2 rows ahead of veteran teammate Andrea De Cesaris. Schumacher took 2 places at the start of the race, but his luck ran out immediately, and he was forced to retire before the end of that first lap with clutch failure. It turned out to be Schumacher's only race for Jordan, as his brilliance in Belgium earned him an immediate move to Benetton, with whom he would go on to win 2 World Championships. Rookie Ayrton Senna was 24 years old and starting just his 5th Grand Prix when he lined up on the grid in a rain-soaked Monaco in 1984. But the Brazilian went on to produce a performance that made the entire world take notice. Starting down in 13th, the Toleman driver was unfazed by the treacherous conditions and quickly made his way through the pack and up to P4, picking off experienced drivers like Keke Rosberg, René Arnoux and Niki Lauda in the process. After Nigel Mansell had spun off, Senna found himself second, behind McLaren's Alain Prost. The Brazilian was finding grip when no one else seemingly was, and the 30-second gap to Prost rapidly evaporated. Prost had been pleading for many laps for the race to be stopped on safety grounds, and got his wish just as Senna closed in to pass. Senna believed he'd won, but the stoppage saw the results calculated from the previous complete lap, meaning victory went to Prost. So it wasn't quite the fairy tale ending, but now there was no doubting that Senna was a superstar. Despite having recorded numerous points finishes in his Formula One career to that point, Monza in 2008 was the moment that Sebastian Vettel truly came of age. In qualifying, title contenders Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Räikkönen's choice of intermediate tyres left them struggling for pace, leaving the 21-year-old German to take advantage and score a scarcely believable pole position for the unfancied Toro Rosso team. On Sunday, the weather was little better, and few gave Vettel any hope of retaining his position. But his mastery of the wet and dry conditions and a performance of exceptional maturity far beyond his years was enough for Vettel to control the rates from lights to flag and claim a truly remarkable maiden win.
A Toro Rosso with Minardi DNA coursing through its veins, driven by a 21-year-old hot shoe with a great sense of humour, who just makes you love Formula One all over again, is about to take his first Grand Prix victory. Sebastian Vettel is a Grand Prix winner for the first time. He's the youngest ever, and that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in Grand Prix racing.
At the time, he was Formula One's youngest winner, and his setting this record was no fluke. The win was taken on merit, and just as Senna at Monaco in '84, his performance in machinery far from the best marked him out as a guaranteed champion of the future.